are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans.
Oh, Canada.
For Tuesday, the 10th of February, I'm Randy Courret. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Come on in and join us. Really appreciate you coming along board. I am having some difficulty with the video here. What is going on? Okay, we got Tony here. We got myself here. Okay, and what a way to start this show. Tony, Antoniou, my partner in crime, is here with me as per usual. Tony, how are you?
I feel like I'm okay. I just feel like I don't have a position problem. I feel like I'm sliding off the screen.
Let's see if we
We'll
could.
figure it out.
Let's see if we could. I guess with the two of us on, usually we have three or four.
It's probably my fat face.
No, you know what? No. Oh, okay. That's a little better. That's a little better. Those of you who have downloaded today's episode, thank you so much for doing that. Of course, you have no idea what's going on if you are not watching live on YouTube, which we are live on YouTube at VOF Canada. So Neel Katarey will be joining us at some point this evening, but Tony and I are going to start things off. We do have quite a bit to get to with regards to the Olympics, the FIFA World Cup, which I believe Tony did not have a chance to chat about on the show. We're going to talk a little NFL and, of course, our final segment, Straight Facts, Bro Relax. And Tony, the Olympics are upon us. And, of course, for Canadians like you and me, it's a really exciting time because NHLers are participating in the Olympics for the first time since the Sochi Games of 2014. But in a general sense and as a whole, do you have Olympic fever? Because I got to tell you, it hasn't really hit me yet.
It has not hit me at all either. It's crazy. I caught some of the mixed curling earlier today, but I was just waiting until Premier League games started. And the same thing happened during the opening ceremonies when we were messaging each other. I said, I'm just waiting for Canada and Cyprus to come out, and thank God they start with the same letter and they're very early in the alphabet. And once I got that over with, I flipped over to a Premier League game on the Friday. So I don't know. I can't explain it. I have no idea why. I used to be an Olympic junkie. I could sit and watch it all day, but I have zero fever. I'm sure I'll start watching the hockey when it gets going, but not at all. So I'm in your boat, and I can't explain it.
Yeah, you know what? Neither can I.
Therapist about it or something. I don't know.
See a therapist about it? Yeah, no kidding. I'm wondering if it is because it's in the other side of, the other side of the world. Maybe that's a little dramatic considering it's in Italy. But for me personally, I think I've discovered that I enjoy the Winter Olympics more than the Summer Games. Just the events are that much more interesting from my perspective. Like events like biathlon, like I don't know about you, but I really enjoy the speed skating events. And but with the Summer Games, I mean, Canada has had a little bit of success. They did pretty well in Paris, but as a whole, I like the Winter Games. What about you?
I think I think the winter games are obviously, if you're cheering for your country, it's more fun to watch because Canada tends to win more things for sure. But the summer games are happening when nothing's really going on, so it's easier to sit around and watch these things. I guess with me, we're just, we're just over a month away from the Toronto FC home opener too, for Christ's sakes. I was just thinking about that. But I still have Premier League soccer that I'm watching every weekend, so I'm kind of into that. But yeah, I don't know. I used to be a lot more into the Olympics. Olympic athletes were always of interest to me. But I don't know. I guess we're older, we're more busy. No clue. It's just to be sitting around and watching. But I'm with you on the speed skating, especially the women's one. Those are fun to watch. But that's it. I,
Yeah.
I guess I'll get into it as we get along here, but I'm not sure. And I think the programming kind of sucks too. I don't know about you, but flipping through either CBC or Sportsnet or TSN, I remember one day it was like commercial, commercial, commercial when I kept flipping. Like I can't. I mean, obviously I can go on Google and put a schedule on and see what they're showing that day, but it just seems like everything is all over the place too. The programming is kind of annoying as well. So I just said, "I'll screw it, put on a Seinfeld rerun."
Actually, I'm
Never
pretty
go
big
on
into this.
there.
I'm pretty big into the Seinfeld reruns too. But you have to consider CBC Gem also, because a lot of events that are not on CBC Sportsnet TSN are on CBC Gem. Like during the Paris Olympics, I found the CBC Gem to be fantastic to watch
Okay.
different events. Now, maybe now there's a significant number of more events for the summer games, but I completely agree. The It is, in my opinion, kind of all over the place, and I do find it ironic that Sportsnet and TSN have multiple channels and they're showing the same event on different
That's another
channels. Like,
thing.
yeah, go
Yeah,
figure.
it's another thing. Like they're showing the same event on Sportsnet and TSN sometimes too. So it's not a big deal to me, to be honest with you. I guess maybe it's just like I'm getting older. I have no idea. It's just
Yeah,
it doesn't drive me the way it used to be. But we'll get into the hockey here once it starts going for sure.
definitely going to get into the hockey, and yeah, I think it's an age thing. Absolutely.
Eh,
So, Tony, well, for me as well, because I'm right there with you. Because, like, hey, I'm going to be 47 this year. Good lord, like, where has the time gone?
Oh, you're
But
just a kid.
yeah, if only that were true. If only that were true. But
Mhm.
you were talking about hockey, and let's get right into it, Tony. When you and I were talking about the Four Nations face-off, you had mentioned that your interest could have been higher if Russia was in this tournament. I certainly agreed with that sentiment. I think fair to say that I was probably more interested in Four Nations than from beginning to end. But the loss of Russia, the absence of Russia, really did make a difference. Russia's not in this tournament, and they're not in the Olympics. Period. Uh, about the hockey tournament, I mean, is it the same? Is it the same for you as it was for Four Nations in terms of its interest because Russia's not there?
Well, I still think it sucks that Russia's not there. I understand why, but we'll keep that out, the politics to the side there. But obviously, there's a little more interest because there are more teams involved. The Czech Republic are in there as well. They're not a they're not going to be an easy out. Even Germany with Dreisaitl, it's going to be interesting to watch that. Switzerland, they've got a few NHL players as well. So it's not as like definite as say the Four Nations was, but yeah, no, for sure. I'm looking forward to it still, but it's not best on best without Russia. It's just not, and that you can't change my mind.
Well, I don't think I really want to. I mean,
Yeah,
Russia's a
uh,
big player,
and
and
I can't see too many hockey fans disagreeing unless you're really, really, really politically just no, it shouldn't happen because they're their president is invading a country and this and that. It's not right. And, but I don't think I've ever seen any other country, um, not be allowed in the Olympics in this fashion before. And you probably could have kept the United States out of a few of them too, right? But I digress. Let's not get political here.
Well, I
Um,
mean,
it, it's
I'm
it's just a
def-
matter of
I,
it's just a matter of missing out. A player like Kucherov, who's one of the top 3, 4 players in National Hockey League, not being able to watch him play in the Olympics is a shame. It's an absolute shame in my opinion, and it's sad, and it's too bad. And Ovechkin, trying to get another kick at the can there. Malkin, we're talking about guys who have this. This was the only opportunity right left for them to play in the Olympics. So yeah, it's Panarin, Kaprizov.
yeah. No, I mean, and this has been like I remember Russia, Soviet Union have they were able to participate, but they had to go under a different name. They weren't able to be recognized as Russia, Soviet Union. And I want to say that South Africa was not allowed to participate in the Olympics because of the apartheid. This is like in the 80s or 90s. I really want to say South Africa, but or was it the World Cup of Soccer? I can't remember. But yeah, political feelings aside, I mean, the IOC made its decision. I do find it ironic, of course, because Russia did host the 2014 games, and they hosted the World Cup of Soccer. What's going to happen? Actually, Russia is not in the 26th World Cup. Is that correct, Tony? I don't remember Russia if they were even
Yeah,
allowed.
they're not allowed. They did not
They
take
weren't
part
allowed.
in.
Okay, yeah.
No.
So what really did change between? And I mean, truthfully, I well, we could keep politics aside, Tony. I don't know if you do want to jump into it, but let's keep politics aside if you want. Yeah, we don't.
I'm sure there'll be time for it when we talk about the halftime show anyway.
Yeah, no, you
So
know what?
yeah,
You're right.
so you know what? South Africa was left out of the Olympics for nearly 30 years due to its apartheid policies. Country was
Yeah,
banned from the Olympic Games beginning in 1964, and they remain excluded until 92.
huh,
So yeah,
yeah,
you got that one right.
yeah. What a rare experience. But
Crazy.
yeah, we'll step aside with regards to the Russia involvement and so on. But you know, Tony, how many times have I said this over and over again? And with regards to NHL participation for the Olympics, I just don't see why the NHL does it. Really, I need to be convinced that NHL players would not do everything possible to win a World Cup of hockey if they had a consistent 4-year program. I mean, I can name off the years where Canada Cups, World Cups have taken place between 76 and 81, 84, 87, 91, 96. My father, his first experience feeling like a Canadian when he came to this country in 69 was the 72 Summit Series. My first sporting experience, it was 87 during the Canada Cup. Both of those events took place in September. And this international hockey tournament during both of our formative years, yours and mine, were in the summertime. And the NHL just cannot get their act together with regards to a World Cup. Do you have any thoughts on why that potentially is the case? Because they just continue to miss an incredible opportunity, and now they're putting their elite players at risk because they are going to go full tilt at this tournament.
Well, they went for full tilt at a 4-team exhibition all-star tournament. So yeah, you expect
Absolutely.
that. This is the players. This is all the players. The NHL virtually benefits nothing from the NHL players being in the Olympics. This is IHF, an event all the way. If it was up to Gary Bettman, he would absolutely have it the way you're talking about. But because they're incompetent, because there's been an endless line of labor issues, work stoppages, and what have you, you were never able to keep a consistency about it. And at the end of the day, there's not too much power NHL players have, in terms of salary structures and what have you. So this is something that they've taken control of and that they really want. But I guess it makes sense because it's in Milan. I don't know where the next ones are. Are they going to say no? We're taking this one off.
I could tell
I'm with
you,
you.
I could tell you that the 30 Olympics are in the French Alps, and 34
French
it is
Alps.
in Salt Lake.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I can see, yeah. So there'll be consistent Olympic appearances, in my opinion, unless something drastic happens. But the NHL can't get their act together because who knows? They're incompetent. When it comes to that, they're incompetent. I'm with you 100%. It's been an argument I've been making all along, especially after working the 2016 World Cup of Hockey. I thought it was so well run. I was able to gauge it from the background and from behind the scenes type of thing. And I thought it was so well run and put together. And eventually the players got into it and showed the passion and played hard. It turned out to be a successful tournament, and we haven't had one since. So I really
Yeah.
can't explain it other than just But I think the players put up a fight too. I think the Olympic gold medal supersedes some manufactured trophy or a Canada Cup or anything like that. I think Olympics is a huge deal to any athlete, professional or amateur. So that's always going to supersede it, and I'm fine with that too. If they're consistently playing in the Olympics, go for it. Good stuff. Bring Russia back too, but.
Well,
in terms of getting that consistency down, all of a sudden you got to start asking, well, is it too much? If you're having the Olympics every 4 years and then a World Cup every 2 years after that, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. We'll have to wait and see. But there's never been a consistency to ever get a gauge or know if it works or not.
Yeah, well, I didn't really notice much of a bump during the Turin Olympics, maybe because Canada, the United States didn't make that gold medal. 98, the very first one, Canada or the US did not make the final. In 2014, I didn't think there was much of a bump. I mean, A, it was in Russia, and B, Canada just completely annihilated the competition. And another thing as well, I always wondered if, because John Tavares was injured during the Sochi Olympics, he was lost for the entire year. Putting you on the spot, if John Tavares was a member of the Leafs, do you think that the NHL or any like a high market team, do you think the NHL would say absolutely not? You players are not going to the Olympics. What if Connor McDavid was lost for the year because of an injury at the Olympics? Austin Matthews, McKinnon, etc. I don't think there's a chance in hell they go in 30 and 34.
I think they'd probably still go anyway if it's in the agreement. Huh? Yeah, if they want to play, players want to play. Do you remember what it was like just a few short months ago when there was everybody was very jittery about the arena in Milan and how it was coming along, and how apparently the configuration of the ice is slightly shorter than a regular, and they all uniformly said, "We're still going. We're still going to go play, even if it's on smaller ice. If we have to swim out there, we're going to go play. We're going to go represent." So. I don't know how you can stop them. I remember Alex Ovechkin a few years ago was threatening to go play in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So,
but don't you think it's more so like ignorance is bliss? I mean, how many players back in the day? Now I know it's a different set of players. I know this is 20 plus years ago with regards to visors. Visors are for wimps. Visors, you're not a man when you play a visor. And now visors are mandated. Nobody, I don't think like these players today would even think about playing an NHL game without a visor. And they're going to go to that tournament in Milan thinking that they're going to come back rejuvenated, leading their team to a cup. But if they did say injure themselves, and let's say that it was multiple stars, I think that they're going to think twice about it.
I disagree.
Hmm.
If an athlete's worried about getting hurt, then they're just like they're us. You know what I mean? Athletes are different. They're built different, especially hockey players. You know that. Look at Braden Point. Tried his best right up to the last minute to see if he can get there. I mean, he was beyond injured. It wasn't going to happen, but he did everything in his power to try and make it, try and get there. And his head coach for the Tampa Bay Lightning is his head coach for Canada. So you would think in the back of his head, he's thinking, well, I need you for a Stanley Cup playoff run, but if you can come, if you're able to come play with us, I prefer that. I want you there. I want you part of this trip, part of this ride, a part of this experience. So no, athletes can't worry about that stuff because if they do, they're more likely to get hurt. It's going to be an easier time for them to get injured. You can't worry about that. You just cannot, and that's not what they're built for, right? They're just not built for that. And
but take a look at the NBA.
Look at it that way.
Well, and I agree with that. No, but what I'm getting at is NBA players, they went at it during the NBA All-Star game, and then they got mega contracts, and their complete mindset has changed. Now the salary cap in hockey is going to rise significantly. I think it's going to be a matter of time before an NHL player gets $20 million a year.
Oh yeah, very soon.
What if they actually had the mindset? Because I think NBA players got to this point because of the contracts and the salaries. And I don't think an NHL player is going to get to say $70 million in a year, but the AAV is increasing and increasing, and it's going to increase significantly. I think it's a matter of time before NHL players say, you know what? I'm going to take a day off.
If that happens, I promise you I will quit watching hockey the next day. I can never see that happening. I just think it's two different mindset, two different type of athletes, two different type of personalities. And you know what? It's not fair to say every NBA player like that is like that, but yeah, the league has ceded a lot of power to players in the NBA over the last few years, and it's, as you can see, it's not a great thing for the league at all. It hasn't been a very good thing for the league as they've kind of run stagnant. I know for me, I haven't watched a minute of NBA basketball. Unless I'm working a Raptor game, I haven't watched a minute of it. And even when I'm there, I barely. And there are a lot of people in my boat. I have no clue who's in first, where the Raptors are in the standings. I don't look. Even now, there's no hockey. There's only basketball on TV. I don't watch it. And that's part of the reason is the attitude of the players. So I think it's a combination of the hockey culture. It's also the feeling of they're a lot more team orientated. They're a lot more team first people. They're not worried about themselves. They're not worried. It's not about money. It's not about contracts. It's about being there for your teammates. It's just a different mindset, right? I don't know. I'm not an leader, so I can't explain it. But you know what I'm saying. Like
I 100% know what you're saying.
We've been following both sports for how many years, and the way hockey players is just different. They're just built different. That's it.
No, you know what? And I completely hear you. All hockey players are different. They, I mean, can basketball players, NBA, even from 30, 40 years ago, would they have, gone full tilt like the Four Nations tournament. Now, Four Nations, I think,
Yes.
is different because, but I do think it's different because it was the very first time a number of those players represented their country at a senior level. Matthews,
Right.
McDavid, McKinnon,
Mhm.
Makar, you know, let's have those guys make it for the third time around. Like
And they'll
Alex
gladly be
Pietrangelo.
there. They'll
I don't
gladly be
know.
there too.
I don't
You
know.
think Austin Matthews is 100%? He hasn't been 100% all year, right? And
Sure.
to
Yeah.
be fair to the NBA players of like the Jordan, the original Dream Team era, those players, they had that kind of mindset. I'm talking about today's players are different, but I would never speak about the Isaiahs, the Jordans, the Charles Barkleys.
Right. Me neither.
Those guys were different bird Magic. They're a different breed back then too. Those games were bloodbaths. Like you play the Pistons or the Bulls or the Celtics. So that was a different time. And like I said, part of it probably has to do with the amount of power they've ceded to NBA players. And I think the super team thing created by everybody's favorite person, LeBron James, probably assisted in it too. It's just a softness now, very sensitive, very soft. They're having fans thrown out of the game for calling
No,
him.
I'm sorry. What happened with
Yeah,
LeBron in Indiana? I completely agree with LeBron. You don't tell your kid that. I
I don't
hope your
even know what
kid
you're talking.
dies.
What is it? Oh
No,
no,
no.
no,
In
that
Indy,
yeah, no. I'm not talking about that. It's Michael Westbrook gets a fan kicked out because he called him Westbrick. I mean, come on. No wonder he wears a dress. Like it's
I mean,
it's
I think it
unreal.
might be
But
more than
anyway,
that, but
I
yeah,
digress.
no,
No, it
no,
was
for sure.
Westbrick.
I if that was
That
the
was it.
case, then okay, okay. No, sure. That was weak, but we'll see what happens with regards to uh, tournaments of the future. But hopefully the NHL players will continue to go full tilt because international hockey, I don't think there's anything that beats it. Um, Tony, I wanted to show you a little something. Of course, the women's tournament is in full swing, and I am so envious of my sister and my nephew. They went to go see Canada USA in Milan. Unfortunately, Canada didn't really show up. They lost 5-0. And man, that USA team, Tony, is just killing it. But what I wanted to show you is both rosters, women and men, USA's now this is not including the goaltenders, but the average age is over 3 years younger in the US for the US on the women's side. USA's men's team, it's give or take a year and a half younger. There's 7 more players that are over the age of 30 for Canada's men's team. Uh, during Four Nations, Tony, I don't know if you remember, I was very fearful that Canada was not going to do well at Four Nations. They, of course, won it. And apparently, Canada's women's team is 0-6 in their last 6 matches against the Americans. I know I threw in two two tournaments at once for you, but I mean, regarding importance, how important is it for USA to take gold here? Because after Four Nations, and I don't know for sure how much more uh, popular hockey has gotten, especially with TNT broadcasting games. But I think this is an incredible opportunity for the United States once again. And if they come up short, it's just another opportunity lost.
I think they'll be fine. If I was to grade favorites in this thing, I'd have the U.S. and Canada pretty much even, right? I mean,
If you had to choose
it
one,
was
though, if you had to choose one,
obviously I'm going to take Canada. I'll take Canada for the experience. I'll take Canada because I think We got a couple of more killers up front in, guys like Nate, obviously Sid's leadership, but guys like Nate and Connor McDavid, they could be the difference makers, right, at the end of the day. But overall, you look at the blue line, the goaltending of the United States team, and it's pretty good. Now, there have been some question marks as to how Bill Guerin assembled that team. Some players that were left out, but and so he's kind of going with a little more sandpaper, I guess, in the bottom six was part of his thinking. And look, Mike Sullivan too, who's a heck of a coach. He's having a tough year. He had a tough 3 years in Pittsburgh, where he went 3 straight years not making the playoffs. He signs the big contract with the New York Rangers, and things aren't going well there at all. So I don't know how much of a distraction it is to him. I don't know what he's thinking from a confidence perspective either. As a head coach, I would take John Cooper over Mike Sullivan in terms of coaching. But don't forget, you got Sweden, you got Finland, you got the Czech Republic. These are good teams too, and they can shock you in a heartbeat. But the edge is to Canada based on a couple of those guys that I mentioned earlier in the answer. I'd say, and even like a guy like Sam Bennett stepping back. I mean, I thought it was just an absolute travesty how he didn't make the team, given how good he's been for the Florida Panthers over the last couple of years. So he gets in because of injury, and that guy is a just do anything on the ice type of player as well. So, but it's so close, man. Like it's hard to. I would not be shocked if the States won the tournament either, right? But do they have the killers that Canada has? I mean, here in Toronto, we question Austin Matthews all the time. He's the captain of the team. Does he have that killer instinct? Can he match the intensity of the Kachucks? Because I think they're going to need him, right?
Well, well, for sure they're going to need him, and he was absolutely robbed. If you remember, during the Four Nations, Jordan Binnington was just on another planet, and he was the sole reason why Canada won the Four Nations. I'm pulling up the Olympic rosters right now as we speak, and with USA, you were talking about the sandpaper of the team. And, does Austin Matthews have what it takes to be a leader? I mean, he would have been an absolute hero if he had scored that goal. And I think, Tony, he had a couple of assists in the final, but I think he played quite well, even though he was kind of hit and miss and dealing with an injury with the Leafs last season. I was wondering if players struggling throughout this first half means anything in the Olympics, because I think once they put that jersey on representing their country, all bets are off. It's kind of like the regular season versus the playoffs. Sam Bennett, I mean, he was just a typical ho-hum, like a 50-point. Yeah, sure, he gets his hands dirty and so on, but then he's like this offensive juggernaut during the playoffs, winning Conn Smythe. Like, I don't think it makes a difference one way or the other during the regular season. And they're going to go full tilt, and it's anybody's tournament to star in for the hockey tournament.
Yeah, sorry, I'm mesmerized. You're showing me this blue line for the States. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, you got Brock Faber, Noah Hannafin, Quinn Hughes, Jackson Lacombe, McAvoy, Sanderson, Slavin, and
when you
Werenski.
see it on paper, it's like, holy shit. Like, who do you leave out? Right? I mean, obviously, Jackson Lacombe will probably be one of the extras, maybe Slavin, but holy cow, it's pretty good.
So, I mean, like, between you and me, we could go through who we think would be top six. It would be Hughes, McAvoy, Werenski, probably Slavin, Hannafin, and McAvoy. So that leaves Faber.
Faber gets a lot of playing time in Minnesota, even though he's with Quinn Hughes. That guy's. They speak a lot about him I mean, I don't watch him play on a regular basis, but I've heard a few interviews with Bill Guerin and some of his teammates, and they speak highly of him as well. But I have no idea. I mean, how do you pick that? Good luck, Mike Sullivan.
So let's take a look at but for Canada, you got Drew Doughty, who's about as old as us. Thomas Harley, Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, Parayko, Sanheim, Shea Theodore, Devon Taves. So,
still very good. Still very, very good. But Cale Makar is probably the best defenseman on the planet right now. So we got that. But overall, as a group, yeah, it's definitely an edge to the States.
Yeah, because you're probably going to have Makar and Taves on the same D pairing.
And look, to your point to these guys, I mean, don't forget they're coming to stack teams. So whatever pressure you think is on them, I mean, obviously it's no bigger than the pressure they put on themselves to contribute, to compete. But I mean, line distribution is going to be a little more equal when you're putting out 4 lines like that. But having said that, when you have, you talk about age and speed and this and that, like everything Connor McDavid and Nate McKinnon do are at like violent, breakneck, high speed, and so I think that could offset for maybe some of the veterans they have on there. There's a couple of, you got Brad Marchand and Sid and Drew Doughty, guys who are, closing in on 40. You got to watch out for that. There's a lot of energy with that United States team, but
And I got to tell you, Tony, I love Marchand. As a Leaf fan, it's so weird, but I love Marchand. Marchand, Tom Wilson, like how are they going to do with that international game? Because they better be careful. Like, I mean, can they be as pesky as they can be during a regular season game? Because there's no zero tolerance when it comes to dropping the mitts.
Yeah, they definitely officiate differently in international. Although I believe there will be NHL referees in the Olympics. There usually is. I can basically guarantee it, but I don't know 100%. But I'm pretty sure. So there is that. No, I think they'll be fine. I think they're just not tough guys who run around. I mean, Tom Wilson was that once upon a time, but he's such a good hockey player, and he's the premier power forward in the game right now for Canada. Basically, when you think about it, he's our Brady Tkachuk, Keith Tkachuk. Matthew. At this moment, he's earned. I mean, he literally earned his spot on this team this year, right? And he's a consistent 25, 30 goal scorer too. I think they'll be fine. And just to have him rub people out along the boards is good enough. He doesn't really need to kill somebody.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. Canada will take the ice. I believe it's Thursday. Thursday is game 1 for Canada's men's team. And you know what? It's yeah. Now, are you you're going to be working? Do you have the chance to I don't know, stream it on your phone or?
Yeah, I'll be watching it on my phone for sure.
Yeah. No, that's great to hear because, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be calling in sick that day because it's been a long time. It's been a long time since Canada's best is out there to watch for the entire world to watch. So, Tony, it's amazing. Like, I don't think you and I have chatted too much about the World Cup since the draw. I don't think that you've had a chance to comment on Canada's group, and between Switzerland, Qatar, and a 4-team playoff that includes Italy. Canada, of course, one of the hosts for the upcoming World Cup of Soccer, and since we had spent the first bit of the show talking about international hockey, why don't we talk about international soccer? What are your thoughts on Canada's group here? I mean, they got a somewhat favorable draw.
You think so?
Well, I mean, what is Switzerland? I mean, you could tell me what Switzerland is, and I mean, between Italy, Bosnia Herzegovina, Wales, and the other Northern Ireland, yeah, who knows what's going to now? Obviously, the quality of football from Europe. I mean, it usually is so much more stronger than North American soccer, but because there's so many teams and there's so many groups, like I'll try and pull up the groupings as you shed your comment. But is there a group of death? Because I don't think I didn't see one that was too strong.
I think there was one. I'll pull it up too. But Switzerland's a very tough team, and if Italy gets in, they're not going to be an easy team, and they're kind of going to, and they'll probably have home field advantage, sadly, at BMO for the opening game, if they do qualify. So, man, I'm not saying they're gimmies. They can compete and get into the next round for sure. Don't get me wrong, but it's not an easy group. I mean, Qatar will be. Oh, there you go. Qatar should be points for England, Croatia, Ghana. Not easy. But no, because there's more teams and more groups, you're not going to have that quintessential group of death that we're used to having, Randy. But you look at those three teams. Never underestimate the African teams and how tough they are to play against. So, Ghana, England, Croatia, not going to be easy. But no, I don't see one either. I don't see like a runaway group of death.
I remember you were talking about.
Do you see anything?
Well, off the top of my head, yeah, I think Group L, like you were saying there. You go by history. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, Mexico. Now, who's the Group A playoff teams there? Because Group A, you have Mexico, South Korea, and do we have the Euro playoff? Can't seem to find it here. But yeah, between the host countries here, I don't know if so Mexico has South Africa, Korea, and the playoff winners there, like the teams that are going to be in the playoff. Canada has a team of a group of 4 that's going to vie for the final playoff spot, but they do have Qatar and Switzerland. USA's got Paraguay, Australia, and another group of 4 playoff teams. So I think, yeah, between maybe it is a coin flip. Switzerland, I think, might be the strongest team that a host would play against. So maybe I just contradicted myself there. Between Korea, yeah,
Switzerland won their group too. Don't forget that. I mean, they had Kosovo, Slovenia, and Sweden in their group, yes, but and they're always a tough out. They always produce decent players. So it's not going to be easy, especially if Italy gets in. Because, like I said, that opener at BMO, all of a sudden, all bets are off. What are we staring at? Are we looking at a pro-Italian crowd, and which would be kind of embarrassing for sure. But I don't know how you stop that. For a lot of Italians living in Toronto. But they've had some impressive results in friendlies. I think Canada's done a phenomenal job organizing friendlies against very good opponents. They had a great run against, was it Wales and Romania back-to-back games earlier? I think they got Ireland right before.
I want to say Ukraine. Wasn't Ukraine?
Well, that was the little 4-nation tournament they had here in Toronto, but they had a couple of friendlies overseas. I think it was Romania and then Wales. They won both those games. They've scheduled a their final friendly before the World Cup starts is against Ireland in Montreal at Stade Saputo. They just announced that today. I think they've
Oh,
done a
okay.
really, really
Sorry,
good
who's
job.
who are they playing at in
They're
Montreal?
playing Ireland.
Oh,
Ireland
okay,
in a
okay.
friendly in Montreal. It's their final one before the World Cup starts. So I think they've done a really good job in preparing this team, and I think they'll be good. I think let's just hope you know, they're healthy, right? There's some
Well,
hope. Some
are
guys
you
who got to get
gonna?
back on the back line.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
are you gonna? There are a couple of matches. What is it? Tunisia and Iceland are playing in March. Um, are you thinking about going to those games?
Where at BMO?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. No. What is it? A
No.
qualifier? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, a
No. It's
friendly.
just
A friendly.
yeah, just a friendly. Yeah.
No,
Any
I
chance I
was
could
not
see you?
considering going.
No. Yeah.
Why are you
I
thinking
might.
about it?
I'm thinking about it. Any chance I could see Canada? I love it. I love it. Davies, for the most part, doesn't play. Maybe he'll play. Get more game fit. Get more acclimated to the Canadian side.
In
It's
March, you said? Because Toronto
yeah.
FC have so many games scheduled in March. I don't know how many different soccer games I could actually get to in 1 month. And the way the
Yeah.
weather is going here, I'm sure it's going to be minus 40 still.
No, it's true. It's true. I like North American sides have just such a disadvantage because they're so far away from like competitive soccer nations. Like the players, whether you're thinking Pulisic or uh, Davies, Estacchio, anybody who plays in Europe have to fly all the way to Canada to play friendlies and
Well,
nation league.
Stacchio no longer has to worry about that.
Not anymore.
He just signed with LAFC, so I don't
Yes, he
know.
did.
I don't know if there was any negotiations with TFC at all. I would like to know because I think that guy would have been perfect for Toronto's midfield, but I digress. Who knows? Maybe he
Yeah.
wasn't interested. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. You think Altidore and Bradley regret? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. You're talking about Estacchio, but Altidore and Bradley played like when they came back to MLS, they spent the entire career. I think Altidore spent had a cup of coffee with one other club, but he was a non-factor. I don't even know if he finished the season. But they win MLS
After
Cup
he, yeah,
after he left
sorry,
TFC. Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was at New England.
New England. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they spent the majority of their career with Toronto. They go to 3 MLS Cup finals. They win, obviously, in 17 for a Canadian club. You think those two, especially, are regretting not playing for an American club? Because, hey,
no,
you don't think so?
no, I think they have substantial bank accounts that would tell them no, we don't regret it, right? Not too many clubs in MLS, especially just back then, like when you're talking about a decade ago, weren't willing to spend that kind of money on players, even as designated players, right? So probably not. I think they enjoyed their time here, especially Michael Bradley. He established himself as a franchise icon. But no, I don't. I mean, if I think ultimately they probably both would have wanted more opportunities overseas to prove themselves because that's the ultimate, you know, barometer when you're a footballer and you want to go overseas and be successful. But to settle in and come back here and win championships, I don't think they regret it at all, and they got paid
Hmm.
very well.
Yeah, I suppose. I do wonder if there was something there. I guess because with MLS clubs, well, are they regionalized? I mean, with soccer, when Beckham was on the Galaxy and now Messi and Inter Miami, I mean, yeah, sure, there's a lot of people on those bandwagons. But if Bradley, I hear what you're saying, absolutely. But I wonder if there is a small part of them. But it's a question that we'll never know the answer to. Um, you know, Tony,
Maybe we can get
sorry,
him on the
please.
pod and ask him. Maybe we can get him on the pod and ask him.
I actually got Terry Dunfield's number.
Oh, did you?
I don't think I told you the story, but I saw
He
him
would
at a
be a
bar,
cool
and
guy to talk to.
yeah. I wonder if he does any soccer broadcast because on the pitch he was such an energetic guy, and uh, he doesn't do anything for one soccer, I don't believe. But yeah, no, he did make a mark for soccer in this country. I hope he is doing well.
He'd be an interesting guy to talk to.
Yeah. Tony, when we were talking about Canada and the friendlies and the friendlies especially, maybe you could throw in Nations League as well. With those men's matches, I don't know when the last time you've been there for a Nations League or a friendly, but the upper deck is completely empty. When it's a women's match, it's sold out. And I do find that very concerning. I mean, this is Canada's national side, and I can't figure out why a city of 5 million plus people can't sell out that stadium. It begs a question to me, really and truly, if Toronto is a true soccer city. I have every reason to believe, and this is based on a hunch, that an American city, especially in an NFL stadium, if it's USA's men's team, it would be sold out. What are your thoughts? Is there a concern that it's just World Cup qualifiers and eventually the World Cup and that's it?
No, we are a soccer city. I mean, I've been to sold out Rogers Center games for Benfica versus Liverpool, Rangers versus Liverpool.
The quality is different.
Toronto FC versus. Well, this is my point. We're a great soccer city in terms of fan base and interest, but it's just a lot. It's a very multicultural city, as we know, and a lot of our people here are more. Hey, what's up, Neel?
Neel Katarey is here. Neel, how's it going, my man?
Good.
Their allegiance. Good. How's it going, buddy? I heard you were away freezing your balls off like I was not too long ago.
Yes, freezing.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
It was really that bad, huh? We could chat because actually my parents were in Mexico as well, while you guys were out of town, and my mother was saying that the weather was terrible, but my mother gets cold in a heat wave, but apparently it was really that bad, huh, guys?
Let's just say it wasn't necessarily the heat wave we were hoping to get to.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
No, it wasn't.
Well, what kind of temperature are we talking about here?
Well,
I'll finish my thought.
15 to 20, but like with a chill.
Very
and, not that heat that you feel really on your, what you want.
We had rain for like 3 days in a row nonstop, and usually down in the Caribbean, you'll get rain for like a nanosecond, it's gone, and you're off and running. You're in good shape, and I didn't take anything with me. Like I had an extremely light Manchester United zip up that I wore on the plane, just because I didn't want to take anything heavy. Whatever I could stuff into my handbag once we got off the airplane, right? So I was wearing that for 3 days in a row.
Oh man!
I was wearing that for 3 days in a row because I had nothing. So whatever the pants I wore on the airplane and my zip up is what I had.
Oh yeah, I had nothing but shorts and a pair of jeans, but boy, yeah.
It's sorry to hear that. I mean, so Neel, of course, I saw that you had went with your lovely wife and beautiful daughter. Tony, did you go with your girls as well?
No, I went with my fiance's sister, and a friend of ours from work. It was me and 3 girls. I was Jack Tripper.
Oh, right on. Good for you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that you made do, Tony.
Unfortunately, they never came knocking on my door.
Oh, your wife's not. Actually, I don't want to say anything like that. I love Shannon. But no, it's too bad. Well, hopefully next time you guys will experience some good weather for the next vacay. Yeah,
I can.
But it was really bad here though last week. So.
Oh my goodness, Neel! Like minus 31 wind chill.
Yeah,
it was insane. Yeah. But I got to tell you that when there was no wind at all, when it was just like a like a still when it was still outdoors. The air is so crisp. I actually love it. I don't know about you guys, but when there's absolutely no wind and it's that cold, I could eat that up.
Yeah,
I must be weird. No, you guys
no,
disagree.
I'm with you. Any condition where there's no wind, I'm fine with. At the end of the day,
I'm done. I'm done
wind
with
is the
winter.
thing that wind is the thing that gets me.
Yeah. Neel, we were talking about World Cup and soccer, and if Toronto's a soccer city. And Tony had a couple of comments, and Tony, I know what you were talking about, Neel. I don't know if you remember. Toronto FC did play a couple of games at Skydome, and it was sold 50,000 people. But I mean, these days it's less than say half capacity, especially for men's international matches, Canada matches, and so on. And Neel, I think there could be something to be said about basketball as well. If Canada played, say, an exhibition match and it wasn't USA, let's say it was Nigeria. I went to a Canada-Nigeria game just after the Raptors won the championship at Maple Leaf Gardens. The arena was give or take about 5,000 seats. It was sold out, but it was a 5,000 seat Mattamy Center. For an exhibition match, I don't know if you're going to get a packed house to watch Canada's men's basketball team. You think I'm wrong?
It depends on the opponent, I think, and it depends on the prospects of the team itself, because the team we have now, I think that you'd get a pretty good turnout. Now, I don't know if you're going to sell out, but you're going to get a good turnout because there's a lot of people that want to see this squad play together. And there's a lot of big names on our team. Like, you could never say that in years when Steve Nash was running the show or anytime now. Like every name is a recognizable, borderline household name. I mean, for whatever reason you want to give it, including Dillon Brooks and guys like that, And so, the team we have right now, where basketball is in Canada compared to years where maybe you're potentially comparing, you definitely get a much better turnout now. Now, if it's an exhibition game against, let's say, like Croatia, no one really is going to care about the game. They know that they're going to go just see a blowout and whatever. But I think there's a lot of interest, and I think that the interest is going to be feverish for LA 2028. So anything leading up to that, everything leading up to that, full commitment from the guys. The last Olympics in there as a test run. It's going to be great.
You nailed it. You said the key word: full commitment from all the guys.
It's
my biggest gripe I've had for Canada basketball over the years. I think this group is going to be fine. Has been overall commitment, and it starts with the face of our. I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to say bad things about Steve Nash, but he kind of started that trend. I mean, he was letting the Mavs dictate his situation with the Canadian national team. But this is definitely a more stacked team. And look, you're saying friendly, right, Randy? So I don't think you're going to get a full team out for a friendly against Nigeria playing at the Mattamy Center. Now, if there was some kind of qualifier for the FIBA World Cup and they're playing Greece, I think you can sell out the Air Canada Center, the Scotiabank Arena, no problem. But I think, Neel, you hit a point there. It's like, who's showing up? Are you getting the full squad?
Yeah. For basketball, I think we're not gonna have a problem there. In fact, we got too many guys to pick from. Is actually a great problem to have, which we've never had before. You could make a squad of 12 and have 3 or 4 guys, which someone's gonna have a problem that they were cut, or say, hey, at least we got those guys ready to go if we got an injury or something like that. But and you look at it just on this topic. Nobody, and I said this on previous pods, including when we were talking during the World Cup, during the Olympics. I said at that time, this squad is nobody's in their prime from an NBA point of view. So imagine what 4 years does. You already see Shea develop into an MVP champion, best player in the league, him and Jokic, you could say. Look at what Dylan Brooks is doing now. That swear to God, that game he had against the USA where he dropped 39 points, he was MVP of that game. It did something to his career, his confidence. Even though he's still Dylan the villain, he's a legitimate all-star. I think he should have been an all-star this year, to be quite honest, and an epic agitator, just like he always has been. So he's a great two-way player, and all the other guys that you could name, they're all still on the upswing of their career. RJ, Andrew Nemhard, the other Nemhard brother, Shaden Sharp is another name. People watch out for that.
Yeah, for
multiple
sure.
others. Nobody is on the downswing of their career. So when you are talking about Olympics 2 years from now, 2.5, that's a lot of time for these guys to really, really build it up. And USA is always going to be the team to beat. There's going to be other teams in the world that are getting better. The biggest
Neel, with sorry to interrupt here, but in 28, you're not going to get LeBron, KD, or Steph. Maybe Steph, but not LeBron, or I doubt KD will show up. If he is, he's going to be well over 40.
They have
right?
to depend on guys like Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Not necessarily all-time greats, and
Cooper Flag, maybe, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, him for sure, I think. But the key between even talking about, let's say it's an America versus Canada gold medal game, the key I don't think is going to come down to talent, because both teams are going to be very talented. It's going to come down to mindset and who is tougher, who can handle the international game, who can play better as a team, because I think that the mentally stronger team out of the two, regardless of physical attributes, will win that game or whatever game they end up playing against each other.
And you have to wonder if the Americans have, with all due respect to them, if they have that toughness in them. I think, and just looking at a high level sort of thing, that Shea, I don't know, Neel, I don't know if you have the number off the top of your head, how many games Shea has taken off, but do the Anthony Edwards have that team mentality to lead an international squad to in the Olympics? You have to wonder about that.
Yeah, I think he is going to be probably the main guy by that point in time, because he's on that timeline where he's not in his prime either, and he's already a top 10 player in the league by most metrics. And every year he gets better. He's been to 2 Western Conference Finals in a row. He really does lead that team, even though it's with his sort of his giddy, immature-ish attitude, his happy-go-lucky attitude. But he's a rock-solid competitor, gritty player, both ends. So it's just will he develop that sort of that higher level of leadership? Shea seems to already have it. If Anthony Edwards could develop that type of impact on his teammates that like Shea has, the confidence that he just gives them innately, even sometimes by not speaking, just his swagger, it could do a lot. But I'm really excited about Canada basketball. See what I'm saying? 2028. I know we got off topic there, but we're talking Olympics in any case, so it's a fine time to get excited about it.
It certainly is. And as you were, both of you were talking there, we were before you logged on, Neel. Tony was mentioning perhaps the crowd. If Italy was to make the World Cup, they'd be in Canada's group. That match would be in Toronto. How many Canadian supporters are going to be actually at BMO Field? Is it just going to be at Zerti Blue, and our Italian Canadians like Dan Leggieri, shout out Dano, is going to cheer for Italy? Is it going to be a split environment? Because in most World Cup settings, it's usually one team or the other. I mean, there's not really a lot of countries that have this, mosaic of culture like a country like Canada has. But I remember a number of years ago, Dan had mentioned especially that if Canada and Italy played a soccer match, people are going to cheer for Italy. But if they were playing in a hockey game, those Italian Canadians are going to cheer for Canada. What do you think? And, Tony, put you on the spot. I'll start with you. What do you think the crowd would be if it was Canada, Croatia, for a basketball game, because Canada, Croatia for hockey, I think those Croatian Canadians are going to cheer for Canada. What do you think of the deal is with basketball?
I think it probably would be more pro-Canadian than a soccer game would be. I think so.
Okay.
I think it has to do
I'm-
with the demographics as well. These guys, a lot of people into basketball now at a certain age, they've grown up with this, with this basketball team, with this group, with just to watch Canada, their basketball program grow. They've grown with it, and they might not necessarily have home countries to the extent that, say, a Croatia. But I don't know how important basketball is to Croatians, to be honest with you. I have no idea. So I wouldn't know the definite answer to that, but I could see it be more pro-Canadian for basketball for sure.
What do you think, Neel? I'm thinking it's going to be. I think those Canadians of Croatian heritage, I think they're going to cheer for Croatia more so.
I would not pretend to know what Croatian fans are going to do, to be quite honest. But,
yeah. No,
yeah, I'm cheering for Canada either way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the three of us will be, for sure. It's the first time that the three of us have gotten together, of course, since the Bills were eliminated from the NFL playoffs. They did make a change, relieving Sean McDermott of his duties. They signed offensive coordinator Joe Brady to McDermott. I mean, what do you guys think about that firing? I mean, there were some questionable calls that took place, not only from the game against Denver, but some unfortunate. Was it the Kincaid missed catch a couple years ago, last year in the playoffs? But I mean, like, Buffalo just seemed to be snake bit, in my opinion. I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think McDermott was the problem?
I don't think he was the problem. He was a problem at times. And I got a lot of respect for Sean McDermott. He was a really, really fantastic coach for the most part, but it's kind of like a player who's really, really fantastic all the time in the regular season and through a couple rounds of the playoffs and in any sport, and they just can't quite get past that big hump. And to be fair, Patrick Mahomes is, an immovable object or an unstoppable force, whichever one. And we just had to run into him a few times. There's some luck there as well, but there's also, you create your own luck a lot of the time. And I think Sean McDermott, being a defensive side of the ball guy, did not have our defense up to par a lot of the time when Josh Allen was carrying an elite offense on his back. So he didn't do his part, in my opinion, to match and elevate his side of the ball enough. I don't know how much he called plays. I think maybe there was some stagger with that. But once it gets to a certain point as well, you keep losing. How many times can these guys, especially these longtime Bills, be in that emotional locker room after taking a bad loss when your expectations were so high, and hear McDermott talk again about, you guys did a great job, we'll get them next year? Like, at a certain point, even the great coaches or the very good ones, they get tuned out a little bit. It's like it's human nature. So I think he ran his course. Is appropriate to say. Was he deserving of the firing? That's a different question. I think there's two sides of that coin, but did he run his course? I think the answer is yes.
Interesting.
And I'll let Tony speak about McDermott before we talk about Brady, perhaps.
Yeah, because I mean, I was wondering, Tony, if there was any point in hiring Brady if you're going to fire McDermott. Like, isn't it the same voice that?
No, I think the two are mutually exclusive. I think I agree with a lot of what Neel said, and even though I was staggered when the score update came up on my phone and I saw that he was fired, I agree. It was time. It made sense, and
Hmm.
this is totally about defensive philosophy, in my opinion. And you watched. We'll talk about the Super Bowl shortly, but you watched how super aggressive Seattle played as a defensive team, and I just think in those pivotal moments, Buffalo's defense found a way to lose games. Right? I mean, 12 seconds. Instead of doing the squib kick and you decide to play prevent defense and give them the space to get the necessary yards you need for the field goal. In pivotal this is what I always said about Sean McDermott coach teams. In pivotal moments defensively, they found a way to lose games, whether give up a big run, whether a guy wide open, downfield.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, just bizarre ways to lose games. And yeah, when it came to playoffs, and he eventually took over the play calling when Leslie Frazier left for personal reasons. He basically took over the play calling, so the defense was all his. So my
But
objective,
wasn't
when
it? Sorry, Tony, to interrupt because I question.
no problem.
Yeah, but wasn't it more so on the players? I mean, if you're missing if you're dropping balls and if you miss an assignment and so on, was it the players who just fell asleep at the switch, or was it McDermott's play calling? And this is a question that I don't know the answer to.
Sure, it could be a combination of both. It could
Absolutely.
be the drafting, not getting more athletic players, not getting a bunch of guys who just aggressively attack the football all over the field, which Sean McDermott had a hand in personnel too. There's a lot of people don't remember is that McDermott was hired before Brandon Beane. McDermott was a part of the search team to bring in Brandon Beane. Now, I know they knew each other from Carolina and stuff, but they kind of worked hand in hand. So a little bit of blame needs to go around 100%. I think Brandon Beane is on the clock now as well.
Mhm.
And although Brady wouldn't have been my first choice, I get why they made the hire. And to me, the most important hire is this defensive coordinator. I want to see what he's going to do with this defense. Is he's going to change the philosophy, change the look, make them more difficult to play against? Because I think Buffalo's defense sometimes just that they're easy. They're easy to play against, especially the running game.
Absolutely.
That was more important. You keep the continuity with Josh and the coach. They know each other well. He's going to run the offense, but and I think Brady will give all the defensive play calling, obviously, over to who? What's his Jim? He's a former player. No, the defensive coordinator. He's a former Bills player, Jim Lanehart. God, I forget his name.
I'm not sure, but I would love to get Jim Schwartz.
No, you know what? He quit. He quit too late. Jim Lanehart. He's actually a former Bill. Where'd they bring him from? I can't remember. Sorry. Way to be prepared. Way to be prepared for the show, boys.
Yeah.
But that's to me, that's the more important hire.
What did you guys think about potentially Brian Dable? I just saw him lead a complete dumpster fire in with the Giants. Like I'll never forget how he was hanging out by the blue tent while Jackson Dart was getting checked out, and basically Dable was just said, "To hell with this guy's health. I need him out on the field," and he was a lead contender for the Bills job, and I don't get it. Were you guys thinking Dable as well?
So no, I wasn't, and I thought that I think that I have this very strong belief that some guys can be head coaches, but most of these guys are born to be coordinators. And Joe Brady may end up being in that allotment, but my hope, and I think Tony's hope, is that he will end up elevating himself to the level of, say, a Ben Johnson and what he's done in Chicago. Both elite, or I would say excellent offensive play callers who will likely continue to keep offensive play calling duties, just like Johnson has. I'm sure Brady will be as well. So the question then becomes, well, Daboll was a good coordinator even for the Bills, but he wasn't a great head coach. I disagree there because they had one playoff appearance and they were kind of crappy the rest of the years. Granted, they had Daniel Jones, but then Daniel Jones goes to Indiana and he does really well. Now, how does that make Brian Daboll look all of a sudden? So,
Well, and Neel, there was a question that I asked our friends in the States. I was wondering if the offensive line makes that much of a difference. I mean, Matthew Stafford, he threw for a bunch of yards in Detroit. So maybe it was an offensive line. Maybe it was the offensive line for the Giants. They were just completely inept, and Daniel Jones was this.
So that is a very good point because they probably had a shitty offensive line compared to what he had in Indianapolis for sure. That's a great point and a valid one, but it doesn't, I think, change the story. He didn't utilize him the right way. There's a lot of angles there, and sometimes I think, especially in the NFL, there's so many moving parts. Even for the guys making the decisions on who's fired, who's hired, they don't see all the angles themselves. I mean, if they could, there wouldn't be so much variance in the quality of these presidents and GMs of these organizations. Like Howie Roseman for Philadelphia, he's absolutely elite and a cut above pretty much everyone else. So there's a few others, just like any sport. And then there's a lot of bottom feeders that really don't know what they're doing, make terrible decisions over and over. I don't think Brandon Beane is that. I think he's kind of in the middle. He's not terrible and he's not great. He's sort of average to above average, maybe, but lately he's not made the greatest decisions personnel-wise, even though he has, some decent history of, some nice hits. And yes, the tragedy here is that even though McDermott may have run his course, had the Bills made the Super Bowl, he'd still be our coach. And the problem there is that he probably had less of a hand in this loss than Josh Allen or the players than he has in other playoff fumbles, because Josh Allen had one of his worst playoff games that I can remember from the turnovers.
Terrible.
He did not have as nearly as good a season as he did last. He came third in MVP voting, but I don't really think he deserved to be third, to be quite honest. That's just me. I thought he for sure deserved the MVP last year, and I think he's going to be a lot better next year as well. Like Tony said, the run game was just horrendous. So the DC hire is going to be absolutely, absolutely crucial. And also focusing on some serious, run blocking or run stopping when you're in that draft, because the rest of the team looks pretty good already. Yeah, a lot of people say Josh Allen needs a receiver, but you know what? No, he doesn't. He needs a defense, because he can do a lot more than Sam Darnold can, but Sam Darnold has a absolutely monstrous defense, which that defense can win games by itself. And in order to beat a team like that, you cannot have just an elite offense. You have to have at least a good defense, not an average one, a good one, and in all phases.
And maybe, just maybe, if you do have a good defense, kind of like how the Super Bowl played out, where Darnold was really good at managing the game. He managed the game knowing that because you remember the first two throws in that Super Bowl, they were close to being picked. I mean, he was trying to thread the needle both times. But as the game went on, I think they kind of calmed him down. And he said, don't try and do too much. Your defense is playing great, and eventually, maybe, and I know it's going to be tough to take that out of Josh because that's just the way he's built. But, maybe he just does a little bit less. Maybe he'll be a little more confident knowing that, hey, let me throw this away. Let's punt. And I'll be back on this field because I know my defense is going to make a 3-and-out stop. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the mindset you have to get to, because ultimately that's what wins championships, as we see. It's, and I agree with you. It's not necessarily needing a wide receiver. It's maybe a little less. He made some bad throws too. He missed some. He missed some pretty
you're talking
obvious
about Darnold.
throws. Josh Allen.
Oh, Josh
in
Allen,
that
excuse
game
me.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just the turnover. It was just like, now it turned out he had a broken foot. He had surgery on it after the season was done. But yeah, it was a disappointing ending for sure. But I think
And
everybody has to change.
how dejected Josh was in the locker room when he lost. You feel for it because he really wanted it, and I mean, we'll have a quick chat towards the end of the show regarding the Bills, but quickly about the rest of the head coach firings and hirings. Mike Tomlin is no longer in Pittsburgh, and it is intriguing that the Steelers have only been through 3 coaches in over 55 years, and how do you think Tomlin's going to resurface and have a long tenure like he did in Pittsburgh? John Harbaugh, is he going to? How's that going to work out in New York? I mean, high level sort of thing. Was there any surprises with you guys regarding the head coach firings and hirings that did take place so far?
I was kind of surprised with who they replaced Tomlin with. Mike, why am I blanking on his name? Former
McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. Especially with the history you explained, they've only been through 3 coaches: Chuck Noll, Mike Tomlin, and obviously
Bill Cowher.
Cat Cowher. And so, I mean, they hired these guys relatively young. Whereas now they're taking on a guy on the downswing, some could say, but and I don't also think that Pittsburgh's timeline lines up with McCarthy's principles necessarily. But so that one was kind of surprising because it kind of is against the grain of what their usual strategy is. And much like McDermott, I was surprised with the Harbaugh firing, but that's another one that just ran its course. It doesn't mean that Harbaugh is a bad coach. And McDermott, I'm pretty sure, is going to be a sought-after guy to lead some of these younger kind of teams that still have to elevate themselves, But, I think change is just necessary sometimes. I'm trying to think some of the other coaching hires. I'm not sure. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I know Raheem Morris got let go. Tony?
Yeah, I think the guy who has the potential to benefit the most is Kevin Stefanski, only because he's leaving Cleveland. So he gets he gets to get the hell out of there. He's a 2-time coach of the year, and they just released Kirk Cousins too, I believe. So it looks like he's going to commit to Penix unless there's another quarterback in mind. But he has the potential to go to an organization where there are some pieces in place that he can work with without, having the distraction of being in Shador world and just Cleveland in general, just being a part of that horrible organization.
And Shador made the Pro Bowl, didn't he?
The Pro Bowler. Yeah, he's a Pro Bowler, obviously.
How did that happen?
I had better numbers than
that. Just if you needed any other reason to delegitimize the Pro Bowl, there it is.
Well, the NFL has been doing that for the last few years on their own. I think
Pro Bowl's it's not even a real.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be proud of. NBA All Stars headed that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I really wonder if that is going to happen, and it's so amazing with the NBA All-Star game because these guys do want to make that game, but you see that game and there is absolutely nothing that would make me watch that basketball game. I mean, like there's no way that Neel, you're more into basketball, I suppose, but there's no way that you would be watching that game, would you?
The NBA All-Star game?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I will.
You would? Seriously?
Oh, yeah, I watch it every year.
No kidding. Why?
No, I'm not sitting there. Yeah, I am sitting there. I won't lie. I'm disappointed every single year. 1 out of 5 years, I'm not disappointed. So I keep on hoping that this will be that dice roll that gets me a nice game. But I watch it for the spectacle. I love the NBA. I love basketball. So even though it's not high quality basketball, it's still, there's just a spectacle component to it. It's like trash TV. It's not real sports, trash TV. It's like a reality TV that, means nothing, is kind of useless, rots my brain, but, it's a guilty little pleasure.
Okay.
And
It's like
I keep on having
watching, it's like watching 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
Please tell me you don't watch 90 Day Fiance. You boys watch 90 Day Fiance? Okay, thank God.
No, I don't. Sometimes
Just blindly
I will come
agreed
down.
with Tony on that one.
Sometimes I will come downstairs and it's on, and I have a good time with it because wow. But no, I'm not a.
Yeah.
Are you guys into The Bachelor?
No,
Are you guys into
I
The
was not
Bachelor?
that.
No.
No, I don't watch reality TV, but my wife does, and so I catch the same stuff that Tony does from time to time.
Okay.
But in any case, like, yeah. I mean, Wembanyama had a quote today. He said, "I want to push guys to play hard in the All-Star game, and if they won't, I'll do it by myself." So, hey, let's see if the future of the league comes in on this Sunday and just starts playing to his best ability and dominating, and we'll see how some guys respond. But let's see also how this USA versus the world format goes, because when you put in the country element to it, all of a sudden there is some pride that is naturally going to be evoked out of that. And so I don't know that, especially with the geopolitical spectrum of the world right now, with the USA kind of acting a little big for its britches from the top down, that a lot of these world guys may not want to team up and kind of give it to them, And Wemby's on that team, so let's see how that goes. Although, again, what's his name? Shea won't be playing. Steph won't be playing. So there's a lot of, who knows? It's a spectacle. It's reality. It's trash TV. Enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. No, for what it is. Guys, how about that Super Bowl? I saw that the Seahawks were favored. I don't know if it's the allure of the Patriots and Drake May and the, albeit minuscule, comparisons to Tom Brady, this unknown kid making a Super Bowl where, I mean, yeah, sure, he was a top pick where Brady wasn't. But the Patriots go back into the Super Bowl. They really didn't put up that much of a fight. Seattle wins their second Lombardi. And what are your thoughts on the game? Seattle, like I think it was Tony who said Seattle's defense, it just seemed like it was all over Drake May. I think he got sacked like 6 times. I mean, he threw for close to 300 yards, but where Darnold just barely scratched 200. But Seattle just seemed so dominant from beginning to end.
It was a lot of Drake May's stuff was close to the end. It was kind of garbage yards, if you want to call it that. But
Sure, yeah.
It was. Listen, it was an awful game overall. I mean, it wasn't a fun game to watch if you're not into defensive football. I was personally intrigued by it because it took me back to the 2001 Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, that's what I was thinking about when I was watching it. And even Seattle's win over, was it Peyton Manning? Was it the one against Denver? That was just a complete domination. I mean,
that's right.
That was over. That was over before it began. I mean, that's how dominant it looked. I remember joking, and I sent my friend a text message. It was 9-0 at halftime. I said, the next team that scores a touchdown will win the game. Like, if New England was able to come out, might have changed the mindset of the game. It might have been different, but sure enough, it wasn't. And I think it was another field goal from Seattle, and I was like, wow, this is going to be tough. I haven't watched them play all season long, admittedly. And so it was kind of the first time I'm watching. It was fun to watch. Super aggressive.
The Patriots or the
Seahawks. Obviously, the Patriots. I've watched them play a few times, but it was violent aggression all over the field. I mean, there was no weaknesses. It was insane.
Not only that, Seattle, they don't talk about it enough, but they had absolutely elite special teams play. They were punting, pushing New England into horrendous field position
Yes.
all game
Right.
long. The guy
Right.
hit 5 field goals without a miss. I mean, these guys were, all over the place, just frazzling these guys before they even, the offense got on the field. So, it was just a complete obliteration, domination, all 3 phases, really. And they just New England got some garbage stats at the end, but really it should have been like a blowout, just like that first Seattle one was. And so, you look back, I bet you, if you look back at the last 60 years now of Super Bowls, and again, maybe not so much in the very early years, but in modern history, you're probably going to see, and I haven't done this exercise myself, but you'll probably see that it's a very high disparity that the team with the better defense, clearly better defense, is usually going to be the winner. And so it's unsexy, but defense does win championships, damn it. And you really gonna have some outliers there, but those are going to be the all-time great offenses that are going to be the outliers. And if I had to guess,
And getting back to the Bills, it's why I never believed this was their Super Bowl to lose. Like that was the ridiculous hype and expectations being laid upon them, and I think a lot of it was, I think it was. Blatant dishonesty. They're being dishonest on purpose about that because, these ex-players watch the game. They should know the game. They should understand. And if they actually think that this was Buffalo's Super Bowl to lose, then, they're purposely being dishonest for a reason, for a narrative. And do you know what I mean? And just setting it up so they can say, oh, look, Josh Allen can't win the big game. But watching that defense play all year like I did, the Bills, I was like, they can't sustain a run of this. They can't win a Super Bowl with this defense, right? And then you watch Seattle in the Super Bowl, and I kept thinking, well, this is why the Bills never had a chance to win the Super Bowl. Because if it was them in this game too, maybe you have Josh Allen there who can make a play that maybe Drake May was not able to make, but still, it would have been tough. It would have been really tough. I mean, the first touchdown scored in that game was Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I saw that. I think did I send you that tweet, Tony? When Bad Bunny was walking from one side of the stage to the other, there was a tweet that said Bad Bunny has more rushing yards than the Patriots.
Rushing yards, yes,
yeah. Well, hey, you know what? No time like the present, and Tony, beautiful segue into the halftime show because there was quite a bit of stir with the halftime show because there was an alternative during the halftime show, and that was from Turning Point USA, the organization that started from the late Charlie Kirk. This was an alternative as there was an outcry from this Latin vibe, kind of losing words here, but with regards to Bad Bunny being the host of and the lead act for the Super Bowl, Bad Bunny, of course, being really against and vocal towards U.S. President Donald Trump, and there was quite a bit of headlines regarding this, and I think it was Bill Maher who said things are so polarizing we can't even have a halftime show in peace. And Neel, I do want to start with you only because you really, for the most part, hasn't really talked about the social matters as much as Tony and I have together. What were your thoughts on the alternative halftime show? Was it necessary for Turning Point to have this event during the Super Bowl halftime?
Sorry, I have to say that I did not watch it, but my answer is it was not necessary. Because why the hell do we care about Kid Rock still? Tell me that first. Kid Rock is the only guy that you can get to headline this. That tells you about the illegitimacy of it in the first place. You don't need to tell me the political motivation. All you got to say is the best we could do is Kid Rock, and I will tell you to go shove it. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's Bad Bunny or whoever else. I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl, not your bullshit little sideshow, candy ass sideshow. Okay. Now, again, political messaging aside, there's no need to be anti-political about a football game, to be honest. Now, I know Bad Bunny, there was political elements or undercurrents to his whole performance, as well as there often is in the Super Bowl halftime show. But I find it kind of funny that even before, like the Super Bowl, that MAGA already kind of had their britches in a cross, the panties in a little twist, that they needed to preemptively get together a rebuttal to happen at the same time as the insult. Usually rebuttals come after the insult, but in this scenario, they just, I guess, assumed that they needed some alternative firepower to hit back. And I don't know. To me, that kind of is a weak look. I don't think that anyone got any smarter watching the Kid Rock show, most likely. But and politics aside, I thought that although I didn't know Spanish, and I didn't necessarily love the music itself. I thought the show, not necessarily the music, but the show was pretty good by Super Bowl standards. He put on a fantastic show, almost like a Broadway show that, the set pieces, the dancing.
It was really elaborate. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very elaborate and so, colorful and all these sort of things. A feast for the eyes, one might say, more than anything else. And then I read about the political messaging or the unity messaging, things like that. And I don't see why people have such a big problem with this guy simply saying, yeah, America has Latin Americans from every single South American, North American country. Every single one is represented within the USA. Doesn't mean they all have to be illegal, legal. Doesn't matter their status. The fact remains that whether it's illegal or legal, everybody's represented. So I didn't see what the big problem there was. But I think this turning point show, to answer your question, showed whose panties are in a twist, and it wasn't Bad Bunny.
Well, Tony, I don't know if you want to comment on what Neel said there, but I'm kind of thinking that Turning Point would have garnered more of an audience if they had this Kid Rock performance after the Super Bowl, maybe on a different day. It looked like, now reports did indicate that Donald Trump was watching the game with a bunch of people as well, and they had the concert on. They had the Bad Bunny show from where they were watching it as well. I mean, what are your thoughts to this whole thing?
Yeah, apparently they had both on, but I successfully did not watch either that night. I went and showered during Bad Bunny, and it wasn't only because you messaged me and said I want to do a pod about this, so I forced myself to watch them both. Okay, and I like to be objective. I think you guys know where I stand politically for the most part, and I always want to have conversations. I think, respectfully to Neel, I think you missed the point of what bothers people sometimes. TPUSA would have been stupid to do it on another night. The whole point was to see, hey, let's put this show on at the same time and see what happens. I don't think in a million years they're expecting to supersede the Super Bowl's numbers by any stretch of the imagination.
No, of course not.
And why Kid Rock? Good question. Because nobody else will do it. And plus, there was 3 other very good singers, because I watched the show, who good musicians who play instruments, sing well, We're singing about traditional stuff, Christian stuff, American, family values. I thought
Have you,
overall
you
it was
ha,
well
sorry,
done.
so before you
I
continue,
watched
have
them
you heard
both.
of these people? Have you heard
I
of these
watched them
people?
both. No, I haven't.
You never
Well,
heard of
the
the other?
one,
Okay, I was curious. I
the,
was just
the
curious. Okay.
the one lady who sang, I forget her name. She sang the first song she sang. I'm like, oh yeah, I know this song. This song sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. Fair
first of
enough.
all,
Fair enough.
first of all, I watch sports to watch sports. Everything else, that's why I
Yeah.
avoided the
Yeah.
Yeah.
the you know. But I think what TPUSA is saying that we're America first, yes, but I mean we're kind of sick and tired of the NFL. This is more on the NFL than it is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was put in a tough spot by Roger Goodell and Roger Goodell giving Jay-Z, carte blanche to run the Super Bowl halftime show. Okay, this is part of the problem. and they're basically constantly now putting the middle finger up to a large portion of the NFL fan base by by putting these anti-American type sentiments out. And it really is anti-American at the end of the day. You got the same thing going on in Milan where all these reporters are asking, hey, are you embarrassed? Are you ashamed to be representing America? Like, it's like, did you ever ask that question to an athlete in the 90s when Bill Clinton was getting a blowjob in the White House by an intern? No, you weren't. So it's all crafted narrative. To me, Bad Bunny was planted there by Jay-Z, by the NFL, and they've chosen the side they want to take, right? TPUSA, I think, put on a pretty damn good show. Numbers up to this point have reached about 20 million. So maybe next year they will attract a bigger. But who the hell is who from a mainstream perspective is going to say yes and go to TPUSA? With with how people look at and view TPUSA, right? Even after Charlie Kirk's been shot, nobody understands what he was doing in his life, in terms of bringing conversation into people. And
Well,
so
you
who
could
would
say
say
Nicki
yes?
Minaj,
So
Tony.
it
You could say Nicki
so it makes
Minaj.
me maybe yeah, she could have said yes, but the point is, I don't think they were intending to compete. They were just giving people an alternative. People who've had enough, right? People who've had enough of the. And why is America the only country in the world where you can shit on your own country? Where else can you see that, right? Even here in Canada, we're pretty good at being like I'm not crazy about where our country is now, but I'm sure as hell proud to be. Why does America have to be the only country where the people need to shit on it, right? Like you speak out on an administration that is just trying to make their country safer, right? We're not talking about throwing everybody out, okay? There are a lot of criminals in here. They've killed a lot of our citizens. We want to try and get them out. Why are we stopping that from happening? Is the question that these people are asking. Nobody was stopping Barack Obama when he deported millions and millions and millions of people, right? So it just makes you wonder, like, what is happening here? There's a different narrative. There is a different message. I'm not
But don't you
following
think
it.
don't you think that?
No, let me think.
Sorry.
Trump, the hate for Trump is so bad that people are willing to commit, sins. They're willing to just do sinful things because of the hatred of one person. And is he really Hitler? Is he really a dictator? Is he a fascist? Wouldn't all these people that are talk shit about him day in, day out, wouldn't they be dead or in gulags or in prisons by now? Right? So, and all I'm doing is speaking on behalf of like what TPUSA was thinking and who they're trying to represent, because clearly the NFL does not care about them anymore, right? Since Jay-Z took over, 2020, Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, 2021, The Weeknd, 2022, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 2023, Rihanna, 2024, Usher, 2025, Kendrick Lamar, this year, Bad Bunny. What do they all have in common? They're not white, right? They're not white. So there's a message. Can you imagine if it was done in reverse? Can you imagine if John Cougar Mellencamp was put in charge of the Super Bowl halftime show and we had an endless string of The Who, Maroon 5, Coldplay, U2? How the fuck do you think the reaction would be out there? How do you think it would go? So why isn't the other side allowed to be upset once in a while, right? Why are these same people not calling out the dictatorships in Central and South America? The reason why people want to flee the United States Nobody is hitting on these governments at all. It's always our government or the U.S. government. What are we doing wrong? How are we oppressing people? When millions and millions of people are fleeing from these countries. I just came back from Cuba. 66 years of a dictatorship. These poor people have gone through shit. Nobody says shit about it. And because one guy, one administration wants to rid themselves of some bad apples who are killing American citizens, trying to make the country a little more safe, it's and I think, and again, this is what I think TPUSA is thinking when they decide to put on a show. I think people have had enough. I don't care. The Spanish thing, I don't care. And like I said, the production, I agree 100%. Bad Bunny put on a show, very good entertainer, not a talent.
And you're a fan of Bad Bunny. Tony, you have mentioned that you enjoy listening to Bad Bunny.
His music has come on, and I have not shaken my shit to it. But I mean, we're talking about this moral high ground shit all the time, and like, my dick is being chased, and I want to hide in it, grab it like a bonga. Like, these are the words that are coming out of this guy's mouth. He's representing Puerto Rican heritage. That's great and all, but it's, at what point do we hate someone so much that we welcome debauchery, demonic behavior from the other end? That we hate this one thing so much that we're willing to let Satan into our lives, type of thing? Those are the things that I'm always struggling with all of this. That's why I don't try and get overly political. I try to avoid it all. Try to just watch the game. But you brought me into it, Randy. So I have
no. But you know what, Tony? I'm sorry. Here's the dumbest
tweet of the weekend. So this is the last thing I'll say. Here's the dumbest tweet of the weekend. Of all the things Of all the things I've seen said about the other halftime show, this seems to be the most accurate. The people who want their own halftime are the same people who wanted their own drinking fountains. George Stroumboulopoulos, you fucking moron. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is not about race, you stupid dick, because we were all, I was excited about Usher. I was excited about Dr. Dre. I was excited more than anybody when these halftime shows were being called upon. You know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with race, you dumb shit. You have a guy who lives in a $14 million mansion, gated community. He wouldn't let one ounce of these bad apples into their house because 14 security guards would stop. But yet he's criticizing the country that's made him a fucking multimillionaire for trying to make their country safer. That's all I'm saying. And this is what I mean. This is all we've got to be fair and objective here. I can sit here and tell you Bad Bunny's a great entertainer. Did he deserve his spot in the Super Bowl? That's to be determined. Did he deserve his Grammy Awards? That might have been a convenient victory leading into the Super Bowl weekend just to give him more buzz. I have no idea, but what I do know is that a lot of people enjoy it, and that's great. That's great. But let's not kid ourselves with this political shit. Just shut up and sing, shut up and play, because I think there's a lot of people who are educated enough. And I think that's one of the things with social media too. It opens up to stupidity and people who don't speak and study this shit enough, speak more than they should be speaking. Then they come out and sound like idiots. The Steve Kerrs of the world, the Doc Rivers of the world, all just it's sickening. It is so sickening. But that's
but
Tony, here nor there.
Tony, a couple of things. I don't know if Neel wants to comment on. Yeah. You go take a breath. Yeah. Because when you were Tony, I
take over, guys.
When you were talking about TPUSA, they would be stupid to do it on a different day. The first thing that came to my mind was Colin Kaepernick taking the knee. I think it would be stupid of him to do it anywhere else beyond that particular spot when he was listening to the national anthem during that game. Bad Bunny's lyrics versus the Kid Rock song. I don't know the name of the song, but statutory rape is mandatory or whatever the line was that in that one Kid Rock song. And I mean, between when Jay-Z was leading the halftime show, of course, you could talk about Usher and his potential involvement in Diddy's parties and such. I mean, was there a musical act that had that kind of reverence than Kendrick Lamar and Usher and everybody else that you mentioned? I mean, dare I say Taylor Swift, but I mean, like, that would have been, a lot of people would have puked in their mouth because they're so tired of seeing a gorgeous woman on TV. I mean, whatever, go figure. But, you know, when you were talking about the Hitler line and Donald Trump being Hitler, I think that's an exact narrative of people on the left blowing things out of proportion so they could get the views and the likes, like we were talking about last week, 2 weeks ago, when Republicans do the same thing about like Ryan Clark, for example, blowing things out of proportion to get likes and views on them. I mean, I don't believe any of these people on the left, like even politicians like AOC. I don't know how much she would believe in Trump being Hitler if she had even said as far as much, because could AOC be the kind of person that tries to garner the attention? JD Vance called Trump Hitler, and look where he is now. So, you know, Neel, I'd love to have you comment on what Tony said. And Tony, I do know that you're on the clock here, but
I'm
very
good,
quick.
actually. Actually, I'm good. I thought I had to pick up my stepdaughter. I'm good. Can I just
Okay, you're
quickly
good.
respond
Okay.
to that before Neel goes
Yeah,
on? I don't wanna rant. I
okay.
absolutely, they absolutely
Go ahead.
don't believe. They absolutely don't believe what they say. What they say about him. Absolutely. You see video of these people. How about that famous video at the Carter funeral when Barack Obama and Donald Trump are laughing it up like
Hurricane
buddies?
Carter?
No,
Which
the former president, Jimmy Carter, his
Oh,
funeral.
Jimmy
This
Carter,
was
excuse me.
Jimmy, what did I
Hurricane
say?
Carter.
No,
Yeah, no.
I
You
didn't
said
say
Carter.
I didn't say Reuben, did I? Okay.
No. I thought
Laughing it
that's
up.
what you meant.
You know, I know they don't believe it. I know 100%. The problem is you could easily influence the masses, people who don't know better. And there's a lot more people who don't know better.
Oh, I think they know
unfortunately,
better.
in this world. No, I'm talking about the people who are saying it to the vulnerable people out there who just don't
Correct.
know
I
better.
think they know
And
exactly what they're doing.
And
I think they know
yeah,
what they're
no,
doing.
100%. Yeah, it is for it's for their base, it's for their clicks. It's a, you know, why is of course it's 100%. It doesn't make it right. Like, are you justifying
Absolutely.
it? It's not
Absolutely.
right because that's what's dividing us, right? And unfortunately, you can't avoid people being vulnerable, being gullible to whatever the hell someone wants to say to you. Nobody takes the time to look at both sides. I have a friend like that. We were on vacation together, and she's a CNN lover. You know, she just watched CNN religiously.
Right.
And
Right.
so and so whatever is fed to her, you know, you kind of take her off the rails and say, okay, well, it's not 100% like this. Let's look at both sides of it. You know,
But Tony, don't you think, and you know where I stand on things, but don't you think Trump and Hegseth, don't you think they're just responsible in stoking those flames? And I mean, these are the leaders of the free world. I mean, when you're talking about the Obama example, like, when is Obama degrading Canada, calling us the 51st state? And, you know, like, calling people out on social media accounts. Like, I'm so now, because I really believe, and not that I've done like a full analysis on it, but if you take Trump's actions without the trash talk, if he just put up the wall and didn't call Mexican rapists, if he just put up the wall and it cost billions and billions and whatever it was, I don't think people would bat a lash. I mean,
no,
calling out Obama and not potentially being American, he knew what he was doing. But if he just simply did everything that without the junk comments and the victimize, like, oh, the media is unfair to me, don't you think that he brings it on himself?
Sometimes, yeah, but
Yeah.
it
So I
wouldn't
mean,
make a
there you
difference.
go.
Go ahead, Neil. Go
You
ahead.
know why he
Sorry,
does that, Randy? Because this kind of leads into what I wanted to contribute to this. First of all, epic rant by Tony. Full props for that one.
Yeah.
Either
No.
way of the political spectrum he lays on, and again, I consider myself a centrist, so I believe certain things
Okay,
from the
fair
right
enough.
and certain things from the left, but not the far of either side. I hate the far of either side, but
Sure.
I respect a good rant any day, and that was one of the great ones. But so you talk about why does Trump do this? So he's a clinical narcissist, first of all. Now he's some things that are positive, but it's well known he's a clinical, deep narcissist.
Sure.
And a narcissist, regardless of whatever they're doing, whether it's positive, negative, whatever, they want the eyeballs on them. They want to be in your headline, and they want to be the center of attention. He's got that little girl in him, or that little boy, whatever you want to call it. And then, so you talk about, Tony, you guys are talking about the left versus the right, the classic political agendas, the classic battle, left versus right. You know who's in the middle? The fucking NFL. And let me tell you, just like Trump wants all the eyeballs and all the attention on him, you know who else does? The NFL. Except the
Okay.
NFL is going to get paid for it. And the owners, those billionaire owners, their teams are going to go up in value from it. Now, why do you choose Bad Bunny as a your halftime show? Why? The same reason that it worked out that Kendrick Lamar performed in LA and was going through an incredibly profitable beef with Drake at the time, and now you have ICE and deportation as primary headline issues in today's day and age. Oh, Bad Bunny doesn't seem like a bad choice. Why? Because the NFL wants to stoke any potential flames, whether they affect this side, that side, whatever. Because in the middle, the money's coming in. And 128 million people watched the halftime show. Guess how many watched the game? Less than that. So the halftime show was more watched than the game. And the NFL has attracted a whole new swath of casual observers. And every time you read about Bad Bunny, every time you read about Kid Rock, Turning Point USA, Goodell, Trump, for the next little while, or at least for, it took a week, the NFL is going to be co-mentioned with all of that in all your algorithms everywhere. So the NFL, by making this decision, they made a bipartisan decision to create partisan tension for their wallet. The same thing that the NFL, just like any good business would do. And the other thing about it is the NFL has reached a point where they can do this because they are Teflon in the society of America now. They are as untouchable as an entity as you will find in America today. They cannot be told by any president, far left, far right. They cannot be controlled. They are a beast that they're an institution that is far greater than anything that can be controlled. And they've developed that reputation through quality of their product, through longevity, and the fact that they've already been through scandal after scandal, and they come out just the same. They call Trump the Teflon Don because he can do and say whatever he wants, and he's still president for a second term. The NFL is more Teflon than he is. So they don't really care what happens as long as their wallet's getting padded as fat as possible. And that's probably a big reason why Bad Bunny was a halftime show.
So, okay. So here's a question.
Think about how many companies, corporations, whatever you want to call it, can really, really stick their middle finger up to a great portion of their customers and know that it's not going to affect them in the least bit. You know what I mean?
Because why? The diehards don't care if
they're not going anywhere.
No, they're not going anywhere. You could have and they don't really care. But the NFL knows that there's a lot more minorities, left-leaning minorities that maybe are part of their base that they haven't captured completely as zealots of the. Look, I'm an NFL zealot, proud to be. So are you, Tony. We love the product. We don't care about the other sideshow stuff, but the people, the casuals, they care about some of this sideshow stuff. And so give them the sideshow
Okay.
stuff. That's what the halftime show is for. And so
So
it doesn't change the diehard fan of the sport, but it will bring in, and they'll do anything they can to use the Super Bowl as a jumping platform for people to pay more attention to it in years to come, just like they've done for years and years and years.
okay. So here's a question. Sorry, Tony, please go ahead.
I'm going to have a quick one for you because we talked about narcissism. We talked about power and money and this and that. At what point to say the owners turn around at Roger Goodell and say, hey, this Jay-Z guy, could we get a Morgan Wallen in next year maybe? Like maybe this
Do you
is
think
a
they
little bit
want
too
to?
much.
Yeah, so
Maybe this
I
is a
think
little bit too
if
much.
the owners wanted that, then Goodell would do it.
Because Goodell's making 45 mil. Nobody knows how to bend over and take it in the hoop better than Goodell from either
yeah.
side because he's making $45 million a year to do whatever the hell people want him to do.
So then the owners are
but
down. So then the owners,
but-
Tony, you have to say are down
you
with
gonna
Bad Bunny. You have to say the owners are down with Bad Bunny.
The owners are down with the consultants that came in, gave them a report, and said if you put Bad Bunny on the stage, then
Right.
you are going to attract a whole swath of new casual fans. And this is our projection. And the Morgan Wallen projection went like this, and the Bad Bunny projection went like that. And so they're like, I don't give a damn who Bad Bunny is. I don't know who that is. My daughter likes Morgan Wallen, but guess what? Do the thing that makes my wallet fatter. Do that one.
But what if that same consultant comes in and says, well, holy shit, I know it was just Kid Rock, but 20 million people, we lost 5 million people, let's say. We lost 5 million people. Maybe those 5 million people plus another 10 can come back if we have a Morgan Wallen.
No, you didn't lose those 5 million people because I guarantee you most of those people that watched that halftime show came back and watched the game. So,
which means
that
they
would
left
be
the
my.
halftime show. Which means they left the halftime show to
They
go
didn't
watch
boycott. They didn't boycott. They didn't
USA.
boycott the game. They boycotted the halftime show, and they probably watched both of them side by side. To be honest,
But you're still looking. Well, no, they don't have Donald Trump's money.
But I mean,
Sorry,
like,
Randy, you had a question, Randy.
well, yeah, no, I can't remember what. Oh boy. Oh well, because with regards to the halftime show and those casual fans, like, you know, all of those Taylor Swifties that were into the Kansas City Chiefs because of Travis Kelce, are they around? And those casuals that admire the NFL for bringing on Bad Bunny, are they going to be around in September when the season starts again? I don't think so.
That's the question.
Like how
That's
much?
the question,
How
right?
much money? I think it's easy to answer. I don't think that they're going to be around. Like, I mean, how much money could the NFL have possibly have made from casual fans with the halftime show? Because I'm of the opinion that those households of casual fans were going to watch the Super Bowl regardless. That maybe in the days and the weeks after Sunday's game, that fans are going to watch the halftime show and Bad Bunny. But beyond that, they're not going to watch a thing. So how much money really are you making from the casual fan watching a halftime show? They're definitely not losing money. I just don't think they're making that much money. And quite frankly, I think that if it was Morgan Wallen doing the halftime show, that they're not going to lose any money, the NFL. As you guys were saying, it's their Teflon, right? So, and, you know, with the whole thing about Turning Point USA, Tony, and really, I truly believe this, that, and look, if we do go down the rabbit hole, so be it. I mean, Tony, I know you have an early start, so like whatever your time constraints are, but with someone like Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, who's now called the Secretary of War, whatever that is, I mean, for him to have that speech, which was obviously extremely divisive, and it was coming from his mouth, and he was supporting the Turning Point USA concert. And I really do believe that if it was this coming Sunday, that you're going to get more viewers. I mean, like, how many thousands of people went to that seminar, that outdoor conference that Charlie Kirk did have in Utah and saw him get assassinated in front of their eyes. I do believe that the Christian, the conservative, dare I say, the MAGA right is on the rise. And I think that there would be a lot more attention when with Turning Point USA, with more live viewers. And another thing too, because Antoniou, I don't know if you listened to Charlie Kirk before he was killed. If Charlie Kirk was all about conversation and he wanted to have conversation with the left, I don't think Charlie Kirk would have wanted to have this concert during the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Because if he is all about, listening to the other side and challenging the other side and trying to prove a point on the other side to a larger degree, obviously, to you and me, I don't think Charlie Kirk would have wanted to have it on Sunday with the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's hard to say because he's dead. So I don't know
Like,
how
did
to
you
answer that
did you
question.
listen to
I
did you
think-
listen to Charlie Kirk's show? Like
Yeah,
before he
I did.
died?
Yes, I did. I don't think the objective was to compete, obviously, with the Super Bowl halftime show. The objective was to give an alternative to a side that has had enough, right? To their side, to understanding that, that this is not it, right? I don't think they were worried about numbers. I don't think they were worried, oh, let's do it the week after, so maybe we'll get 100 million viewers. I don't think that was the objective. It was just to throw an alternative out there, right?
Okay.
It's not the first time. Remember in Living Color did their Men on Film during the halftime show that competed with halftime. It's not the first time someone's done something like this,
I
right?
don't remember that.
This
Okay.
is just hyper political on steroids, next level, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
But-
And I mean, but I do really hope that we do get to a point, and I really do believe this, that just because you're watching Turning Point USA, you're not a racist. I mean, I think that people need to realize that there are people that are not racist who don't like Bad Bunny, and there are people that are not racist who like Kid Rock and whoever the other three were, and maybe they are just into country music or whatever kind of music that is. Like, it is really unfortunate how polarizing and how standoffish people are, and
I think that
I think it has everything to do with the algorithm.
Yeah, that goes to what Neel's point was before, right? That's exactly what it goes to.
Yeah.
You throw those words out there, and you got a lot of people who don't want to be called that. The best thing to do is not give a shit. Say, sure, if you want to call me that, go ahead. I am. I'm homophobic. I'm racist. Go ahead. Go ahead and call me. That's part of the problem too. A lot of people are afraid to be called that because that's the instant. That's what they go to instant, right? It's
Well,
stupid.
I mean,
It's really stupid.
but
Neel,
there is.
Neel, you figured
Please.
out why it's done the way it's done like that, right? You mentioned it before.
I mean, there is a problem. There is certainly a problem on the left, and the cancel culture is real. But
there's problems on both sides. That's why I say the far of the right and the far of the left, both are bad for society, bad for the country. It's the middle 80% that's good for things: the discussion, the debate, the non-zealotous belief in whatever it is, the far wokeism on this side, the far right-sided extremism on that side. But the 80% in the middle, those are good people, and those are good discussion and good debate to have, where you actually are considering to some degree the sand that's coming from the other side. Those other 10% on each side, they don't consider nothing. They believe only that their side is the correct one, and they're not open for debate, discussion, or anything like that. And so when you don't have that, you don't have a society. And that's why, there's elements of both sides that plague society today. But unfortunately, the rest of the left or the right gets roped in with all this other BS. And that's why I think, but unfortunately, and now we're getting really political, but unfortunately, this is why society is the way it is because, this is why you don't have bipartisan news channels. You have only far left or far right ones that, it's a shame.
Well, in the States, like, I mean, like,
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But we're talking about the most powerful country and the most important country in the world from a global perspective. And they set the tone in a lot of ways. And, but this is kind of the way it's always been. And I tell you this, Tony mentioned a lot of these other countries, Cuba, places. Number one, of course, the USA is not nearly as bad as a lot of those places. Rundown societies, poor, impoverished. The people have had much harder times with their governments over time. But at the same time, you can't compare America to those countries because then, that's not, they're not on your level. It's like comparing an elite NBA team to some peewee team, in a way.
The point I was making was that a lot of these artists who have something to say all the time about a certain one thing, they never go there, right? They never go there. Even with China, same thing.
So
they never. Go
yeah,
there.
I think as I said, it boils down to the NFL seeing an opportunity to pad its already fat wallets by utilizing the political tension of America for its own benefit. And it really comes down to that. Smart move by the NFL from a business perspective, marketing perspective, all of that. The halftime show gets more talk than the boring ass Super Bowl than they put out. and that in and of itself is a victory for the NFL, but I don't know if it's a victory. Who else is victorious here? I know the NFL is.
Yeah.
I'll mic drop on that.
Yeah, no, well done. But let's see what kind of comments you have during Straight Facts, Bro. Relax. Before we actually do get into Straight Facts, Bro. Relax, guys, I have to talk about what took place in Milan. So apparently a biathlete from Norway, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, Sturla Holm Lagreed, won the bronze medal. He won gold in Beijing. And Tony, when I sent you this story, did you know about this at all? You did not.
No clue. I had no clue. No.
So basically, during this biathlete won the bronze, and he was speaking to media from his homeland of Norway, he had mentioned how, and this is a quote from NBC. It was translated from Norwegian. 6 months ago, I met the love of my life, the world's most beautiful, sweetest person. And 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life and cheated on her. I'm sure many people now see me in a different light, but I only have eyes for her. And this guy announced to the entire world of how he couldn't keep it in his pants and basically is begging for this girl to come back. Impromptu Straight Facts, Bro. Relax. You think the girlfriend is actually going to take this guy back? I mean, would you do it? Would you? Please, Tony.
First of all, this guy truly is a biathlete based on his performances. But he can dangle two at once. Good for him. I think there is a chance. He's a gold medalist, we said, right? Did you say gold? No, bronze?
Yeah, he won gold in Beijing.
Bronze?
Yeah, 22 Olympics.
Oh, but this was a bronze victory?
This was a bronze in Milan, yeah.
And he said it after the bronze. Maybe not.
He did. You don't think so?
No, bronze.
You think the shine is?
No.
Yeah,
he's done. He'll be fine.
Honestly, yeah. Well, I'm sure that he could find a new girlfriend. As soon as I heard about this, I was thinking about how Steve Urkel kept on shooting his shot with Laura Winslow on Family Matters. I mean, it was just, I get it. Like, you regret cheating on your girl, but this guy's been around the block. Like, he's won medals. Like, you have to think that he's experienced with media, and he went like a blubbering idiot like this. It's incredible.
The best the girl the funniest thing I think would be if she tweeted something out like, "I aim for silver or better." Like that.
Well done.
That's
Well
it.
done. You know, Tony, we did talk about the Olympics, of course, before Neel came on, and I guess we did touch on it, but you know, I don't know if you had a chance to let it marinate, but I think that there is a real problem with NHLers going to the Olympics. I understand wholeheartedly, like the 22 and the 18 Olympics, they did not have NHL talent. Can we remember who won those respective tournaments? I, for one, can't. I believe the country that represented Russia won in Beijing. But yeah, the Olympic hockey tournament has so much more allure if there's NHL players. But I think it's just one injury away from not participating in the future. If that is the case, well, whether it's going to be the case or not, Tony, the NHL will not allow NHLers to participate after the 34 games after the Salt Lake City Olympics 2034. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
I'd say, bro, relax. I would say, bro, because I would imagine Gary Bettman's not going to be there anymore anyway. So you might have somebody who can control this thing a little bit better by then as well. But no, as long as players want to go, they're going to get the chance to go. So, yeah, bro, relax.
Yeah, I know we were talking about it to some degree, but really, when the World Cup, Canada Cup took place, Tony, I mean, you and I know more than anything that other than baseball, what do you have cooking in the world of sports? And I just think hockey, international hockey in the summertime is the perfect time to get some eyes on your sport, and especially hockey during the winter. I don't get it. But that's why I'm here and not in the NHL as commissioner. You know, and Neel, last and certainly not least, I don't know how close you and Tony thought the Bills were in playoff runs past, but after such a long stretch of not making the playoffs, they went on this streak of how was it? How many was it? 9 playoffs in a row that they appeared in. And
Less than that, but you know,
it was
it's up
less
there.
than that.
It could have been.
But it-
I think it was more like 7 or 8. But
7 or 8. Yeah. But has the clock struck 12? I mean, Terry Pagula, we didn't even talk about his press conference where essentially he threw McDermott under the bus along with Keon Coleman. Is there going to be an exodus within Buffalo? Is Josh Allen going to take a step back? Is the defense going to struggle more so? Neel, Buffalo Bills will miss the playoffs next season. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
This might be the biggest bro relax you've ever given me, man. Yeah. Look, anything can happen in the NFL. It is one of the reasons it's the king, in my opinion, is because there is an element of uncertainty every year with all these teams. You can go worst to first and first to worst in the drop of a dime, and a team always does every year in a division like clockwork. But I do not see that with Buffalo. As much as an elite quarterback can't win a Super Bowl for you the same as like an elite defense can, I would argue. An elite quarterback definitely, generally, if healthy, keeps you above water and in playoff contention. And so I don't think that's going to be a problem, to be honest. Plus, I saw Joe Brady's press conference. I watched it, and I see a swagger from the guy that I never heard him talk before, frankly. But I watched his whole press conference, and he seems like an energetic guy who may be able to connect with these guys on a different level. And I was just thinking about Ben Johnson the whole time because, he's turned out to be a great head coach. And I don't know if you saw some of his locker room antics, but they're fantastic. And Chicago really played their hearts out all year and were one of the better teams to watch this year, all in all. So yeah, I think Buffalo after this, they're all going to have a sour taste in their mouth. I think Josh Allen will come back determined next year, frankly, because he feels like this is the one time he's probably the biggest reason they may have lost, outside of a shitty defense, which they knew they had going in, but they didn't know they were going to have this bad Josh Allen performance. End of the day, we're still an elite team. I think I'm looking forward to having a more difficult schedule next year, to be honest, because I think these guys need to get a little feisty in the regular season before they get into the playoffs. We had a pretty easy schedule this year. I'm not sure how a first-place division team had that easy of a schedule, but between the Patriots and the Bills, I think those were two of the 3 or 4 easiest schedules in the league, opponent-based, obviously. And so, that's a big-time bro-relax. And I think that, we got a good shot going to the Super Bowl next year. Just like I say every year, but nothing's really changed. You just need to shore up a couple pieces and not do anything stupid, and you have as good a shot as anyone.
Tony, no, I was wondering if Tony had a comment for it, but yeah, truly, I do hope you're right, because maybe not to your both of your degrees, but I was really hoping that Buffalo could do something, and who knows, maybe next year they could make it back to the Super Bowl in over 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, as always, thank you so much for this. It's been a while since the 3 of us actually got together. But whether it's at the end of the Olympics, hopefully Canada can make the gold medal final, or sometime down the road, let's do it again soon.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Great discussion, fellas.
Absolutely, as always. For Tony Antoniou and Neel Katarey, I'm Randy Katarey. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. We will talk to you next time.